it was taking. So getting right into it. I just do my cards, sort of en route, don't have a lot of time. So again, take it as it resonates, may or may not be your story. If so, follow along. What I'm going to say here is I do feel like there's kind of a lot going on here in this month of January for you. I feel like, I don't see any major arcana, however, other than there is, actually, I shouldn't say that. There's judgment and then there's also justice. So there could be some kind of a legal issue or something here dealing with institutions, something of that sort, where there's definitely been some level of disappointment or something here. But that's just at the bottom of the deck. And especially when it's followed by Five of Wands, that kind of thing. So it could be something from the past, but regardless, we'll just kind of dive right in. Page of Wands does introduce, there could be a message of some sort. It is a newer energy that's coming in. It is followed up by the Ace of Wands and Queen of Cups. So I definitely feel like there's something here that kind of speaks to wands. There's several of them in this read, which really does speak to a lot of energy, initiative, a lot of creativity. And I definitely feel like it's very grounded energy still as well, because it feels like there is a movement in terms of your career or something with money. There's more stability, there's more skill building. Now, I would say because we have the other cards out here, as I mentioned, judgment, and then we also have the justice card, it feels like there's something here that's quite significant that is sort of in the range of karmic alignment or a choice or a movement. There's an awakening, there's an epiphany, there's like a really big realization of some sort emotionally. And this could be intuitively in regards to relationships, things of that sort as well. Now, I would say with the wands, again, it's got that Aries fire influence, so it feels like there's a lot of initiative, a lot of action, a lot more risk than you would do in maybe other months. And sorry, oh hi Pop. But I definitely feel like, because we do have some cards here that really ground it out. Could be dealing with Gemini, Libra, um, various air signs, but we also have the Knight of Wands, kind of an in and out energy, and we'll get to the relationship aspect here as well. But a Chariot is a decision card as well. So there is still something here dealing with Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, water signs. Like there's emotional currents in a relationship. They're coming through pretty strong here. So it feels like this is something that's pretty significant that's happening for you. It's very universal, very karmic timing, that kind of thing. I do feel like there is a lot of initiation or bold movement, like I mentioned, because of all the wands. So, and big emotional awareness that's coming to light. Again, karmic choices, balancing out personal power with your relationships. It's a month of opportunities and really pivotal decisions coming in for you. And hi there. Sorry, I can't read it. Is it Ramian? Ramiman or something? Sorry. Just because the sunlight's in my eyes here, guys. But anyway, I do feel like it's pivotal decisions, career partnerships, that kind of thing here that are coming in for January. I would still say, because we led with the, Page of Wands, this kind of indicates it's more along the lines of, curiosity, new themes to be explored, messages coming in, things of that sort. I do feel like there's a new project coming in here as well. Definitely new ideas are starting to emerge, small spark that could really grow into something, especially with the Queen of Cups here, very passion project oriented. Again, water signs very prevalent, and I do feel like it could be a message or an invitation or a social opening. Someone is approaching you with interest, or an offer of some sort here as well. Now, in terms of relationships, again, I feel like there could be some message or invitation socially or otherwise approaching you again, something like that. There is learning potential, especially when I see the sorry, it was the other cards here. There's learning potential that's coming in here too with the Justice and the Lovers card. I also feel like, just be open and flexible, willing to try something new is really the advice. Okay, I'll see what comes up on yours, maybe just depending on my amount of power left on my phone at the end here. But I do them all toward the end if there's any questions, don't want them to interact with the initial read here, so overlap. But either way, again, that Ace of Wands tells me there's a new beginning, there's a creative energy that's brewing here. So I feel like this is powerful energy for starting new ventures in the month of January, side projects, any kind of innovative projects or strategies, whatever, to be implemented. Spiritually, I feel like there's a surge in your personal will in some way here. Um, yeah, something where there is more motivation, maybe even on a spiritual level. So again, there's a lot more independent action, self-directed creation. We got a lot of the ones here as well. So, just when you are headed out with this, just grounded in planning, that kind of thing. Again, because that Queen of Cups came up there, it's still in around that energy of emotional maturity, intuition, nurturing, all of that. So in terms of your relationships, I feel, the message is just be compassionate and caring, in your partnerships, because there's more deep emotional guidance that comes with this card and following your intuition with decisions. So again, the stability will come through emotional awareness for you in the month of January. So stay centered, empathetic, listen carefully to emotional cues, that kind of thing. There could also be a celebration coming in here in January. And again, Three of Cups, something like that socially here that comes up, celebration, friendship, collaboration, however that resonates, or some kind of teamwork or networking kind of event, something that leads to an opportunity is also relevant. There is more happiness, support systems, reunions, that kind of thing with that energy. And it's coming in pretty quick because this is definitely, an opportunity that's coming in swiftly, or some kind of communication about it very quickly. Feel like it's something to do with the past or nostalgia, something to do with even, could be again, past idea or past connections, reunions, something like that. But there is energy of creative growth, expression, collaborating, that kind of thing. So you're really engaging with community or friends or family or something here socially to help you, move toward this success that's coming, or you're sharing that success in some way. But it is seeking some kind of emotional support, I feel, on some level there. Now I want to say, let's see what else we had here. Um, Now the Six of Pentacles, that one is definitely in that range of generosity, giving, receiving, that kind of thing. So assistance may come in, or financial support through some kind of mentorship or collaboration or connection. I feel like the relationship, in whatever this relationship is, the reciprocity is very important here, because it does feel like that creates more harmony or balance in your life in some ways. So accept the support gracefully, and the support, and offer it where it's needed, that kind of thing, is really the connection to those cards. Now, justice, this is all around, karmic themes. Again, there's something here about fairness, truth, could be a legal or a financial matter, or dealing with the law. But there is something here about important contracts that are coming through, especially with this card following up. There's a decision here as well. And again, I feel like it's a financial decision that you need to, or a negotiation that you need to review carefully. So again, there's still levels of honest communication. Things will kind of, go back and forth with this energy, but it's definitely something that will have some consequences. So honesty in the communication is very important here, whether that's a relationship or some kind of negotiation in terms of business. But act with integrity, evaluate your choices carefully, because I do feel like it's a big decision here, maybe a little further out, because these are clarifiers. But I definitely feel like theme is partnerships are important, alignment, choices, decisions, that may involve even partnerships or collaborations. But you need to strengthen those bonds and those deep connections, because critical choices are going to be made around your connections, your partnerships, your relationships. There is balance, harmony, responsibility, all of that. So make sure, again, values and integrity are high on the um, roster or whatever here. So Knight of Wands, there's something here again where there's action, there's adventure, or there's a courageous, fast moving opportunity that's coming in that's going to need some decisive action. So I feel like it's growth through action for you in the month of January. So be bold, but make sure your enthusiasm is what's attracting success, because the theme is your action, is very important to kind of that, to meet that success this month. Again, we have lots of cards of decision. Chariot is, making a decision, but it's also taking back control over your life. It's a victory through a discipline of some sort. The progress in terms of career and money requires focused determination and a strategy. That is how you're going to move this ahead. There is, I feel like you're channeling your energy with discipline, and that extra focus is really going to help you to meet success. Now, the final cards out were judgment. So there's something here that kind of speaks to awakening, reflection, rebirth, all of that. It's a turning point. Things are being evaluated, and this is where you make the progress. So again, in terms of a relationship, could be a reconciliation or some kind of clarity emerges where there's a karmic resolution. But there's also something here about pay attention to the signs of the lessons, but make sure you act decisively, you know, um, on any insights that come in. Now, the bottom cards, Nine of Wands and the Hierophant. I mean, the Nine of Wands is almost an end card, so you're almost to the, end decision or whatever it is that you're coming up to here to before you kind of move into this next energy. But it still feels like there's a level of resilience here. So you need to kind of keep your boundaries and keep pushing through, because I do feel like there's a sense of protecting your resources, persevering despite the challenge, that kind of energy with this. But just stay emotionally aware, because I still feel like not everything is finished yet. It is still, you're on the bridge of that completion, but you're just preparing for the next transition. So you're not quite there. So guard your energy, but maintain resilience. There is your Taurus energy coming through here also. So again, I want to say that you have to be careful, because the Five of Swords is the bottom card, Five of Wands is the bottom card. Could be competition, could be jealousy, could be a lot of internal stressors, that kind of thing, but it's a caution card nonetheless. So there is kind of a strategy, a strategic withdrawal, I feel, that's necessary in this read, because this is the major card out. So strategic withdrawal, like knowing when to pull back, because tensions may rise, but you have to know when to step back in this month. In January, conserve your energy, don't get into petty disputes, focus on the higher goal is really what the cards remind you. And again, there's still some sense of battles that are just not worth fighting in this month. The energy, like I said, is one of mastering whatever it is you're doing, figuring it out by taking action. It feels like there is a new opportunity that's coming in here, whether this is a new job, new skill, something along that line. But I feel like you will need to refine it and able to bring about the results that you need. So again, there's a karmic consequence or something here that's coming up. So I still feel like collaboration, external support, something like that is available. But again, relationships, I feel for you are, things that will matter in this month. It's important to be vigilant about, any conflicts. I would say celebrate your successes and your supportive network. Don't nitpick and break it down into what serves you. I think in this case, you have to sort of roll with it a bit, because your the support energies are what are needed for you to align things for yourself this month. Again, just listening to subtle nudges as well, but take some initiative, action. There's growth in this month, and I definitely feel like harmony in your relationships and more generosity back and forth, give and take, that kind of thing. But you are nearing a completion cycle. So you are preparing for something that is going to be taking place probably further out in February. But either way, it was a karmic alignment or awakening, something that really had to be learned and able for you to go forward into this next cycle. So again, just as advice, final cards out, be bold, judgment. Nine of Wands, we had the Chariot earlier. Be bold, but when you are bold, it follows the spark of opportunity. So take the initiative, refine your skills, be disciplined, because that's going to bring you stability. And again, monitor your partnerships and your choices and make sure they're aligned with values and integrity, because your connections this month will matter for something further out. So manage your energy carefully, because I do feel like you need to avoid some conflicts and some jealousy, things around you, whether this is you internally or externally. But I feel like you need to recognize some patterns from the karmic past, and just allow spiritual insight guide you through to make these decisions, because again, you're making some pretty big decisions, 3 cards out on that. So it's pretty important, but again, engage your support network and make sure that they keep it joyful, because I feel like that's going to uplift you and really create some positive patterns for you further out into February. Anyway, that's what I have for you, Taurus, for the month of January. I'll answer one question here. This is, okay, so Renio Man? Sorry if I mispronounced that. You want to attract somebody. Okay, well, I don't know how you can do that, but let's see how what the other person is thinking of you right now. What is the other person thinking of Renio Man? What is the other person thinking of Renio Man? And I should also ask, what is the other person thinking of Renio, and what are the possibilities of connection between them? So these are new cards separate from the previous read. So unrelated to the previous read, 9 of Wands, 7 of Pentacles, Page of Wands, 7 of Pentacles clarified by Page of Swords, 3 of Pentacles, 9 of Wands clarified by Chariot, Page of Wands clarified by 7 of Wands, bottom of deck, 10 of Pentacles. Okay, and then we'll summary that. Okay, give me just a second. Okay, so what I'm seeing just in general, again, I'm just going to start it off with the main cards out here. Because we're starting off with the 9 of Wands, I would say, and even when I see 7 of Pentacles, this tells me that there's a lot of resistance in this situation. There is maybe some initiative to go forward, but again, it's followed up by persevering card, but resistance. So it's almost like there's something here that kind of is holding this situation back. There is either a need from you or somebody else, or somebody's taking this caution, defensive approach. I feel like it may be them that's very guarded and possibly due to past experiences or previous connections, something like that, but they feel very cautious about taking steps forward. I feel like they may be in a space of, either finishing a cycle with someone or something like that, but I feel like their boundaries feel like they're tested in some way here. Like they are aware of some of the things that they have to work through and able to resolve and move forward. But right now, it just feels like everything looks like effort or challenge to them. I wouldn't say, it feels like they're mentally preparing to go forward and get strong. But again, there's so many cards here of resistance. I see patience with the 7 of Pentacles. There's a reflection or a time to wait. I feel like whether this is them or you, they're evaluating some kind of long-term potential here. There's a lot of curiosity, but it's like they're considering whether or not something's worth their time or energy with the Page of Swords. So again, this kind of is an assessment, careful planning, introspection, doing a lot of research, watching another person kind of energy, whether it's you or them. But either way, I feel like the advice is, you have to look for evidence of some sort first before there's any growth or stability or reason to act. I do feel like, there is curiosity and maybe there are some messages of interest that someone might be open to exploration, but very small levels of energy, like small sparks of excitement or possibility there. It feels like there's still a sense of caution. Again, curiosity, but caution. You need to, whether it's them or you, kind of observing closely or thinking critically. It just feels like the information is that they're not impulsive. They're not going to act impulsive. They're going to really, you know, slow this down and figure it out. Now, the 3 of Pentacles, tells me something could go to, another level. there is a possibility of connection, but it's almost like there's got to be a partnership, a cooperative effort, or something here. Maybe other people working alongside you toward that goal, and able to build the foundation of something here, build something together, teamwork, whatever it is. Maybe you work with this person, whatever. But either way, it just feels like there is a level of, yes, you can persevere and still go forward, but again, there's still a lot of resistance. So either somebody's working through a lot of stuff right now, and it's going to be on their timeline. That's what it kind of feels like. They think they're maybe prepared to move forward if certain conditions are met. There's just so many cards of caution here. And again, even when we saw the Chariot out here as well, that's still that energy of, intentional action. Somebody wants control. Mentally, they feel they can overcome whatever the hesitation or the structured, taking structured steps to get past something. But I still feel like the main theme is caution, curiosity, defensive. They might want to explore it, but they're being very careful. So their interest in you, if that's where it's headed, is one of self-protection. They're not feeling very open. So they're probably going to test you, and, be very assertive or over assert themselves in terms of independence, whatever. But it just feels like the energy here is still has some potential, because Ten of Pentacles, you could know this person. This could be somebody who's family oriented or connected or something like that. But this is the card of long-term stability, security, legacy. This is also stable long-term connection. So it feels like if you both invest the effort and align your intentions, I feel like you'll have financial, emotional stability that could be what they're thinking of. But again, right now it's too early on to tell, because it's more about defensiveness and confusion. I feel like they're working through some level of confusion, or uh, even if they have sparked some interest, it just feels like they're still observing and analyzing things, for maybe that long-term potential. But I just feel like it's not maybe going to go forward just yet. Again, there's just too many cards of resistance and patience. um, yeah, there might be some interest, but it would have to be really balanced out with care. Emotionally, somebody might be hopeful, but they're cautious all over the place. They think they're open to a partnership or communicating, but then there's all these cards of resistance, that tell me they're not quite there yet for making a move, or investing in something. I feel like they could be a very strong, like secure, long-term, reliable kind of person. And I think so long as you had shared goals, cooperation, that kind of thing, you could really go forward with something. But again, there's something here about self-protection. So there could be some interest, but it's really guarded. Like I said, that's what I see there. So hopefully it gives you a little bit of insight. Anyway, that's what I've got for you. Keep moving forward, guys. Never give up. It's not how good you are, it's how good you want to be. See you in the next read.